Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Before we start, I just wanted to say a quick and big thank you to all my 15,000 plus subscribers on my YouTube channel. I am so excited and I cannot wait to create a lot more content for you guys this year. With that said, if you've seen me before and haven't subscribed, make sure to do so right now. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Alifya and I make content and tutorials in acrylics and watercolors. So if that interests you, make sure to subscribe by the end of this. In today's painting tutorial, I will be showing you how to paint this loose, beautiful and simple acrylic landscape using a limited color palette with only 3 colors and white and black. Real-time extensive version of this painting with extra techniques and exercises is available on SKILLSHARE. It is free for 1 month. Okay, so let's begin. So to start off, I am using the same artist tape that I used to tape off the edges. For the sketch phase, we will be drawing out the outline of the mountains. Now, you can choose to make it as complicated with more layers or real simple with just a few as well. In my opinion, both of them look really nice. I'm gonna do a few extra layers for those who like that layered look. Alright, so now let's move on to painting, and I'm starting with the sky. I'm keeping it really simple because I wanted the attention to be on the mountains and the lake. So like mentioned earlier, we are only going to be using 3 colors with black and white, so it's a limited color palette for this entire painting. So I'm starting with phthalo blue and some white along with a small flat brush. I am just painting a flat wash to the sky. Adding a little black to this mixture will give you, will just give your sky a little depth, and I am just adding small strokes to some areas and I'm going to blend that out. Using a rounder brush and plain white this time, I'm just adding final strokes to the sky to certain parts to kind of give it a bit of highlight, and we will leave the sky alone. Bringing in our next 2 colors, light sap green and phthalo green for the mountains. I'm going to start with the right side first, and I'm mixing in those greens along with some white and just a tiny smudge of black. So I'm using this color to basically block off these shapes for now. Those little gaps that you see me leaving will be the shadow parts, which I will add next. For the shadows, I'm taking in phthalo green and phthalo blue and filling in those white gaps for now. This is totally me improvising while I go along, and there is no picture reference that I'm looking at, so you'll find me like fiddling with the mountain shades quite a bit. But here I'm just adding a big chunk of the darker mountains in the front, which I thought would look really nice. Using different variations of green now, and I'm adding the color off to the side. So the whole idea is that you want light source to kind of be hitting in one direction. So if you'll see, most of my darks are towards the left side. Here I'm taking light sap green and white, and I'm adding a few strokes to the right side as highlights. Just so you know, we will come back to this mountain in a little bit to scale back some of these layers because I wasn't quite happy with how it turned out. But let's move on to the right side so that we can have a better picture first. So here I'm just using phthalo blue and lots of white, and I'm starting with the back layer first. Further layer that you see at the very back will have more white to it, and as you move forward, you just have to keep adding a little bit more black to the color. So adding a little bit more black as we move towards the further layers to the same exact mixture, right? So we've got phthalo blue, phthalo green, white, and black. Okay, so coming back to the right side of the mountain here, I wanted to pull back some of these layers and simplify it a little bit more. So here I'm taking in light sap green, white, and black, and just covering up the middle area that I thought was a little too busy. I just wanted this to be a little reminder that it is okay to change up your painting if you're unhappy with certain areas, and there's always room for fixing things, especially with acrylics, because this medium can be quite forgiving that way. This is what a raw and real painting process can look like. You know, I could have very well started from scratch and just not showed you the process of me like being unhappy with certain sections or fixing things, but I thought, you know what, no, just I'll leave it as is, and I'll show you how you can fix things to the way you like. So at times like this, you know, step back and just kind of work on some other part of the painting, and then come back to this section for more fresher ideas to complement the colors that you've already painted. So again, a real reminder that just to be patient with yourself when it comes to painting in general. I wanted a nice big chunk of shadow to this side over here so that it could complement the left side that I already have. Okay, and finally some highlights of little shorter brush strokes to finish the look. Alright, let's take off this tape and get working towards the lake, which surprisingly will be the easy part. If you have a ruler handy, this step will help you out a lot. So just leave a little gap in between and just draw out a line across with a pencil. This will leave an amazing stark white gap in between, which will not only be a really nice breather space, but also a great focal point for the painting. Bringing out a bigger, flatter brush now, and I'm using a phthalo blue, phthalo green, and some black. Carefully tracing my way through the line I drew out to start with, and then I will use that same color for the top 1 inch of the lake. Adding some white to the mixture will give you this gorgeous color, and I will use that beneath this dark layer. Again, about 1 inch or so, just slightly thicker than that. Using even more white now, fill out that bottom layer of the lake. Now you will need to blend all these 3 layers so that you can get a soft gradient. Make sure to clean up your brush before adding a new color when you are blending them out.
The world from the place beneath the willow, so many years, too many tears on your pillow, on your pillow.
Okay, now it's time to build up layers to the lake just a tiny bit by adding some loose strokes of darks and lights to give it more depth to the lake. Simple, bold, and thick strokes across your page here. Remember to keep your strokes thicker in the foreground, and as you go deeper into the lake, keep them thin and small to get the right perspective. Adding some more white now to the same mixture, and I'm repeating the same exact steps and adding small tiny strokes.
You gotta let know while you can. Don't you wait until the morning light.
Last minute highlights with plain white and keeping the marks smaller but thick.
Far away until you're out of sight. You're out of sight.
Giving the lake a few dark tones as well to finish off this piece, and just make certain parts stand out a bit more. So using the same sea green mixture we already have, I'm just adding some black to it. And the moment we've been waiting for, let's take off this tape and see what we've got here. Like mentioned, if you do want a real-time extended version, I do have it over at SKILLSHARE. The link is below. completes our loose acrylic landscape for today. And if you do try this out, don't forget to tag me over at Instagram or on my Facebook group. I love looking at your recreations. It always makes my day. To shop my art, do visit my website where I sell my original landscapes and florals, as well as prints in all sizes and much more. To keep up with latest news, do follow me on Instagram where you can stay up to date with my new launches. Thank you once again and happy painting!